suffering, vaccine and the suffering. You see our logic. People are unemployed, that is why they are suffering. Right? Obviously, people are unemployed, that's why they are suffering. So tell me, how many employed people are happy? We only find the immediate cause. We do not go to the second, third cause. We don't want to find. We say poor people are suffering. How many rich people are happy? Tell me. How many rich people are free from fears and insecurity?
Yes. But they are better off than poor people.
Yeah, they are suffering in a much better way. They are ready to commit suicide. Do you see that? Yes, and we see the immediate cause. We always say whose IQ is very high. Do you know how many youth with a higher IQ commit suicide? And tell me, we always want to find the immediate cause. You see, even the...
Yeah, but there is no relationship between...
Yes, tell me.
Richness and mental illness.
Yes.
There is a relationship
Yes.
between poverty and mental illness.
So then why I am thinking if I become rich, I will be happy. There comes the relationship.
It helps.
So it helps me to live in fear, live in insecurity. I have more money, I want more security. Do you use your credit card online? And tell me. Hardly. Here comes the feeling of fear and insecurity. This is what I'm talking about. Even illiterate people, we say, oh, these guys are illiterate. How many intelligent people are happy and they do not suffer? They have more fears. Just see the fact. It is the truth of life. It is the truth of life. Yes, mead has come. So you see, think of it. We have to think when we treat the path of yoga or Eastern wisdom, we need to think. We should not accept the social norms as it is. What I said, people are unemployed. Oh, that's why they are suffering. But how many employed people are not suffering? How many employed people are really happy, free from fears? Think of it. Go deeper. Poor people, they cannot meet their livelihood, no doubt about it. That is why they are suffering. But how many rich people are happy? They have their own insecurities. They have their own fears. We say, oh, your IQ is, what we say? Your IQ is 140. Yes, 160. And people with a higher IQ, even in the Harvard and big universities, they commit suicide. My master ran away from his house at the age of 11. He did not know how to write and how to do his signature. We have to think of it. Why we have to think? Now see that. Why we have to think. So that my intellect should not create a wrong notion to be happy. That is the entire journey of yoga. Now see that whatever, I am not suffering because I do not count dollars. I am not suffering because I do not follow social norms. I know social norms, I follow it. I know mathematics. I know how much money I have in my bank account. What is the cause of suffering? What is the cause of my anxiety, my fear, my insecurity? Every day I'm living in that anxiety, insecurity, suffering, pain, duality, conflict. And I have been repeating it again and again, days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months. And I say, this is life. In India we say, what a life without a wife. So after a few years, you say, what a life with a wife. No, with excuse, with forgiveness from 4 beautiful women. We are only 2. So it applies to men also. So yoga is asking that I must sit down and find out the real cause of suffering. If I'm not right, you can interrupt me in between. I am very handsome or beautiful, there is a problem. And I am not, still there is a problem. So our master says that the real cause of suffering because I do not know myself. So, what is the goal? Goal is to know the real self. If I'm ignorant about chemistry, so I must get a knowledge of chemistry. So ignorance is gone. Simple. So I don't know my real nature. Let me know my real nature so that I can bring an end to the suffering. If my inherent nature is full of fears, there is no end to the suffering. Don't do anything. If you have insecurity, and insecurity is my inherent nature, please stop doing anything. Live in that insecurity. Accept it. Simply accept it. Why you are trying? So here comes the wisdom of the masters. Masters say, your real self is self-existent. What that means? It is independent. What do you mean by independent? It is unchanging reality. What is that means? What is unchanging reality? It is not influenced or dictated by the changes in the body, in the mind, in my ego, in outer society, the money I have or I don't have the money. I am employed or unemployed. You see how beautiful the wisdom is. So now when I understand that this real self is beyond, transcends the body-mind complex, and I do not know the real self, I must know the real self. That is the journey of yoga and meditation. That is the real journey. Popular journey is doing headstand pose. So if you are mentally fit, you do the headstand pose, there comes some problem in the brain. And if you have some problem, you do the headstand pose. So problem of the brain goes away. But what our masters have been teaching, the real goal of yoga is to find your true nature. That we covered in the very first beginning of this journey. We said, when you empty the mind of its content, what happens? The knowledge of the real self reveals. Where? It reveals within you in the mind. So when the knowledge of the real self reveals, then what happens? You discover the permanent state of happiness, calmness, peace, love, truth, wisdom. So now you are an epitome of love. Will you expect love from others? The very expectation of love from others causes you the misery. Oh, you don't love the way, I was thinking. See that? You don't smile, when I came, so there is something fishy going on in your head. Because I'm expecting love from you. I believe you might have done these things at a point of time in your life. Why you have a big face? Whenever I come to home, you have a big face. I know it might have been at point of time, maybe having a different expression. Do you see that? You change the entire perspective of your life. Now I am an epitome of love. Let me express my love to you. Let me express peace. Let me express happiness. Do you see that? So, the knowledge of the chemistry is taught by a teacher who knows chemistry. Same thing, knowledge of the real self should be taught by a teacher who is well versed with this. And where are the knowledge? That knowledge is found in the manuals of self-discovery. Whether you say manuals of yoga, manuals of meditation, manuals of self-discovery, we have 3,000 texts. I've already told you, we have 3,000 teachers. One of my students long back in India, almost during 2000. So he said to me that he was a brilliant student of IT. So after attending few sessions, he said, I will also join, I will become the yoga teacher. But here he has a wrong notion. What he said, now I can do headstand pose. I can walk on my hands. I also did in the beginning. In 84, 85, 86, I used to do it. I used to do all 105 postures. So when I got initiated by my master, I used to perform these poses in his monastery. After 2 years, he told me, did anything happen to you? I said, why you are asking me? I also did it. Nothing happened to me, so I left it. So I said, Master, you should have told me 2 years ago. But you should not have listened to me. Sometimes we our intellect continue to follow the wrong notion. It creates a very firm opinion and judgment. You don't want to move. In 87, I left it. I was restricted to 5-6 postures to keep this body fit. Understand this. So, what is the point of understanding that what is the ultimate cause of suffering? The ultimate cause of suffering is ignorance about my real nature. So, don't consider ignorance. I had one student last week and he said, I'm very intelligent. So, don't tell me that I'm ignorant. So I said, you told me that you have depression. So use your intelligence to manage your depression. Second part, ignorance means the intellect has some error in perception. What is that error? So every time, every week, Charlie joins my session and she always introduces, I'm Charlie. First week, second week, third. But I know you are Charlie. You need not to say anything. Do you see that? You need not to say. Now ask a question. Do you know real self? If not, then we have to continue the journey. I have understood that there is a real self. But when I know that there is a real self, that knowledge is my experience. Are you understanding? That knowledge is my experience. So the Master says, knowledge is realized in stages. The seed does not become a tree overnight. First stage, make an effort. Make the ground of the mind softer so that you can find cultivating. We cultivate the crop. Seed does not become a tree overnight. So first stage is making an effort, understanding these principles, continue the practice. So now once you practice, what happens? You reach to the ultimate state of emptiness. Emptiness is what? You are doing nothing. So after sowing the seed, putting the fertilizer and water, you wait. You wait, and then you see the sapling comes out of the ground. And that sapling is of the peace and happiness. So remember, if you see that, I know you told me the real self is this. During the session, everything is good. After the session, we start fighting, entering into conflict. It is not preaching. In all the religious institutions, those priests, they know that preaching is easier than teaching. But yoga says you have to be there. Are you there or not? Do you know the real self or not? That is why we are making a journey. So what we covered in the 5 or 6 sutras or principles, we understood that real self is beyond and behind the mind. Second sutra, we understood that this existence is the source of all the knowledge. So again, find the ultimate cause. I am passing on this knowledge to you as a teacher. Who is my teacher? Then whose teacher? Who is the ultimate teacher? The ultimate teacher is the real self seated even at this time in your heart, behind the mind. That is the ultimate teacher. So why you have external teacher? Because real self, your real self is representing, as long as you do not know, the outer teacher is representing your real self. That is how we understand the tradition and the wisdom. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So now see that as you cannot hurt, the right hand cannot hurt the left hand, your real self is being represented by the external teacher. Teacher of different kinds, who teaches you headstand pose, who teaches you lot of breathing practices without understanding. No. So that relationship has to be there. If that relationship is not built, goal is real self. Relationship because I want to know my real self. Last week I had a session for the Eastern European group. Women are always beautiful, so she used to send me the email, what should I do? My dad is drinking too much. I don't have any magic. If you chose to drink, what should I do? So where is the focus now? How to solve that problem? My father is drinking too much and I'm totally upset. He exhausted all the money. Now he is torturing me to give me the money. What should I do? I said, find out the ultimate cause of your suffering. And the ultimate cause of the suffering, because I am attached to my father. Do you see that? First, he is my father. Second, I am attached to my father. So I built a wrong notion. There is an error in the knowledge. Should I follow? You see that if the neighbor drink, who cares? If my father drinks, I have to care. I am attached. So I said, can you remove the attachment with your father first? Or find out why you are attached? She responded, I am intelligent. If you are intelligent, then continue to suffer. Who says that? Understand, yoga follows a logic, facts, and the truth. But then next week she joined and she said, I understand now why I am suffering because of others. I said, go ahead, move to the next step. First, I should be clear. I should be in peace to help you move into peace. Are you getting it? Even in your relations, if you are in peace, peace is a great power. Happiness is a great power. So, that master says, Patanjali says, that real self is the source of all the knowledge, and that real self is designated as Om. That is what we covered. Om, don't take Om as a religious symbol or anything else. If Om is a religious symbol, then Sophie is also a religious symbol, then John is also a religious symbol. Charlie is also a religious symbol. That is how the master is explaining Om. But why they created Om, that is a different topic altogether. I used to go to Quakers. Quakers are very much dominant in New Jersey and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So professor used to call me and I used to attend a late night meeting. So the professor asked me a good question. Why shouldn't I say Amen instead of Om? Very relevant question. So I said that these 3,000 masters have worked on a symbol that is revealed in their meditation for thousands of years. Then they discovered if you are saying Om, it changes. the entire energy vibrations in the body. Now tell me, have you done that kind of research with word Amen? I just gave a logical answer. No, we have not done it. So don't mix the two. He agreed, and then we started. We did a lot of meditation with him. So we have, you see, the Om. O, U, Ma. I give you only one idea. There are 5 or 6 texts devoted to what exactly is the Om. And the beauty of this, beauty is this. You have found the real self. Throw the Om into garbage. Finished. Our masters declare this. You have found it. You know the real self. You don't need Om. Because you have found it, Amen also will work. So we have respect for all the traditions also. That is the key. I have found it. So when I go to the church, I see my master with that cross. Oh, very good, my master. You are here in this with this image. You have that clarity. You don't say good or bad. That is the beauty of this journey. So, second part is that practicing this meditation that we have done, we will do only one more session today of Om meditation, then we will go that what are the obstacles on the path, and you'll be surprised the depth of Eastern psychology. That those obstacles lives in the mind due to the error in my understanding, due to the ignorance. And once we remove those obstacles, we can get rid of all the obstacles and we will succeed in meditation. So this practice of Om meditation removes all the obstacles on the path and awakens us to the true nature. You see the sequence of this master who wrote only 195 formulas that can be written on hardly A4 size piece of paper, front and the back. 195 formulas. Formulas, H2O. You can write a book contains 500 pages on H2O. H2O is water. Start with the elements. How many elements are there? Hydrogen is one element. Properties of hydrogen. Bonding, covalent bonding, electrovalent bonding. Like this. The sutras are there. So you see the last in this series, 5 or 6 sutras. The last sutra says Om meditation removes all the obstacles on the path and awakens to the true nature. So what are the obstacles we face in meditation? That we will cover the next in 2 sutras. And once we cover those 2 sutras, what are the 9 obstacles and the 4 symptoms that we experience in our day-to-day life because of ignorance of the real self. So let us start our journey of meditation. A lot of gossip has been done. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed and you sit in any posture or sit or lie down, whatever is more comfortable to you. What is more comfortable to you? You should be at ease. Ease experienced by the mind. So we become easier by being comfortable. How? Look at the neck joint. Who looks? The mind. I'm not teaching you any magic. I'm not teaching you any mysticism. I'm not teaching you any religion. It's purely, I always say that yoga is 200% science, if modern science is 100%. So, mentally become aware, look or feel the neck joint. Whether I say feel, whether I say become aware, or whether I say move the mind on the neck joint. Be there means awareness and alertness is there, and then you have an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. After that, check, is the mind still moving inside or still wandering outside? So these are the obstacles. It happens. So we have to get rid of it. First we have to understand. That we are going to do in the following week. Now look at the shoulder joints. Feel the sensation. You're comfortable and steadiness. You see, it appears being comfortable, the step appears very simple in ease. You will miss it if you are not aware, alert, and attentive. And if you are aware, alert, and attentive, it will give you a very subtle movement of the mind. That movement of the mind is looking inside, moving inside. Look at the hip joint. Be there. Feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You see, in a way you are not doing anything. You are changing the direction of the mind. Very subtle understanding. So, if the mind continues to think that I have to make lot of effort to steady the body, you are missing the point. We are going a little deeper in every session. You need not to worry that I take care of it, depending on the group and their receptivity. Look at all the joints of the body. Start with the neck joint. You have a feeling of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Shoulder joints, elbows, wrist, fingers, hip, knees, ankles, toes, entire body, and you see the state of comfort and steadiness is there. Again, aware. I always talk about 3A. Aware, alert, attentive. What you are doing? You are following the instructions of a teacher who is following the mind. Is the mind aware? No, my mind is thinking about my honey. It will not work. That is why it takes a lot of time. Or some conflict. So these thought enters into the mind. They are bound to enter. That is the nature of the mind. But what should I do when these thought enters? Let the thought continue to come and go, appear and disappear in the mind. If I am aware, alert, and attentive, then thought comes, I do not chase it. I become aware, I am alert. The way I'm standing across a road watching the traffic. The mental traffic, thoughts, you are simply watching them. Even this step will take you to the higher states of meditation. But we have yet to become a seeker. So I'm not expanding this step. So now I'm changing a little bit of this Om meditation. In the first step, we have to do quick, fast and loud Om. You make a sound louder, Om. Om, 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 Om. But what is the point? Quick, fast and loud. Why quick, fast and loud? Because we don't want any thought in between two Om. So who will notice it? Your mind. It is your awareness will notice the thought has not come or thought has come. If the thought comes, you have to do little quicker, faster, louder. Let us start with that. Om 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 om. Again, take a deep breath. Keep your focus inside the forehead and start. Continue quick, fast and loud. Remember, no thought in between two Om. Quick, fast and loud, continue please. My friends, continue. And stop it. Now inhale with awareness first into the belly, then into the rib cage, total expansion, while breathing out with the lips open, breathing out from the belly, the sound of O, and gently bring both the lips together and allow the humming sound to be natural while breathing out from the ribs. It is as long as possible, the second one. We are not in a hurry. No noise while inhaling. Again, inhale deeply into the belly, into the rib cage. Focus remains inside the forehead. Half the time. then stop. At the third Om sound, you say it as if in a total split of a say, Om, but keep your focus inside the forehead as this sound, as if it is hitting the forehead. Let us start. Om, Om, with a little pause in between. Om, 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 Om. Continue, my friends. Om, 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 Om. And now stop this. Check. Is the mind wants to live inside? How you do it? Look into the forehead in the space. First you check. Space is there. Then mentally drop. Om. Again see the space. Om. So space, mental Om, space, mental Om, space. See what happens? So now you only see the space. There is no other thought. But if there is other thought, we need to practice it again and again. Simple. Space, Om, space, Om, space, Om, space, Om. Om. Om, space, Om, space, Om, space. And doing nothing. Now do nothing. We discussed that when the mind is totally empty, the knowledge of the reality descends into it. Can we extend that period of emptiness? That demands a total purification of the mind, removing all the obstacles on the path. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Check. When I say Om, I'm naming the real self. Does your mind go deep inside the heart? If it goes, you'll have a thrilling vibes all around. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Bring your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Sophie?
I am good, and definitely if I stop saying Om, the thoughts are inviting themselves in my mind. Yeah.
Well, that's good. You become more happy. How are you, Charlie?
I'm good. I was very aware of, these are the only words I can think of, the shape of the arms and the way it was going. Like the vibration of the arm changed with each one, and the way my body vibrated was very different. And this time I was really aware of my teeth vibrating. It was very strange. But I liked it.
Yeah.
And then when you mentioned about the heart at the end, I just felt like I kind of dropped from here down, and that was quite lovely.
That's lovely. That's a dear. That's what we say in our tradition, that listening to the teacher should be done from here, from the head. So once you understand and do the practice, it descends down into the heart for realization. If the knowledge does not go down to the heart, nothing happens. It is only a dry knowledge. So that is why you felt so good. Yes.
Yeah, it was lovely.
It was lovely. Good. Very good. How are you, John?
Okay. I felt that I was able to better keep extraneous thoughts away, and so I'm happy about that.
Very good.
So it didn't go down into my heart, but I'll have to practice some more, I guess.
Yes, practice more. One thought came to my mind. Ask your mind and reflect on it. That does a thought chase you, or you chase a thought? So if a thought chases you, there is no solution. No end of suffering. No, means a crazy thought always says, no, I will chase you, John. I am not going to leave you. So you see what happens in meditation? You only realize that these thoughts are different, separate from me, and they cannot do anything to me. So you have to find the answer why they are making me crazy. You see that? That needs to be, see, it's all understanding. So when the intellect has a clear understanding, then what happens? Pours down. How are you, Mead?
I feel, I sensed a dropping in and a steadiness.
Good. That's a wonderful.
And I also experienced, thank you, and I experienced joy. And for the first time, my cat joined our group tonight.
You see the joy, if we start asking from where the joy has come, it has come from within. It has come from within. Now, can I hold on to this idea, this thought in my mind that the joy is not outside? It is always inside. Journey becomes. John, don't compare other experiences with yours. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique. So, how are you, Anne?
Yeah, I feel at the end much better than at the beginning. So it was a good meditation for me.
Yeah, obviously. Before the beginning, you were not with me.
No, that's right.
That is why you were not feeling good. At the end of the meditation, you feel good. You see that we have, when I say you that, say for example, you'll be amazed. One thought came to my mind. So we say suffering, sorrow. So one text dedicates on understanding what exactly is the sorrow and what are the 7 layers of cause and effect. And 7 layers of cause and effect is explained in about 600 verses. 600 verses means 1200 lines. That becomes one book. Now see what is beyond suffering. So then there is another text. I pick up some of them. I was taught by my master, and then I pick up from somewhere. So what is beyond suffering? What is the meaning of beyond? What is the meaning of behind? Nothing is kept in dark. That is the beauty. That is why I left science and researcher, and then I entered into this profession. You see that what is behind and beyond, how do you understand that? So when you understand what is behind, these thoughts came to me when John said, it was extremely difficult for me to get away with those strenuous thoughts. If I remember, that is what you said. So the moment you have a so-called, the mind says it is strenuous thought and you are behind the mind. Done. How long it takes? A fraction of a second. But provided you are a seeker, you have to be a seeker. So we will understand when next session we will consider those 9 obstacles. And 8 of these obstacles comes from the mind, your mind. And your mind has to meditate. So if there are obstacles, you cannot succeed. So we will understand what are those 9 obstacles and how to counter them. There are 8 or 9 sutras. So that is all. If you have any question, you can ask me.